Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Yes. I have been talking to you. For some reason the settings had mic off. I really do apologise about that. I was not ignoring you. Believe me. Does that mean I have to talk again about... Oh man. Oh crap. Where do I start? Well, we qualified second and won the Gazoo race the very first go at it. With no practice. I think I've done 1 or 2 laps and hated the way the thing handled. Yeah, well, I'm mad. Really upset I've lost Lebelic as a friend and as a sub. He announced on Discord that he's leaving. He's actually leaving, he's given up on GT7 and he's apparently not watching any streamers anymore. So that's really hit hard. And I do think that my attitude, and he admitted that my attitude 2 weeks ago kind of upset him a bit. And I think, well, I haven't helped, and I feel really bad and guilty that I feel like I've driven him away. It feels really bad. I mean, I just... almost makes me cry, actually. That's one of the reasons why I just don't feel like streaming at the moment. I've tried a couple times and just not feeling it. Hopefully things will improve. I've got a lot of shit going on in my life as well. Yeah, that was hard that he's left. Heard from VR Hot Laps has been chatting to me a bit in Discord, and he found out why he's been suffering loss of breath, and people thought that he was just making it up an excuse to get out of things. It turns out that after all that he actually has a collapsed lung, so he might have to have surgery for that apparently. So I'm wishing him all the best. This is a service hub here. I wonder if this... It is? Oh yeah, it is. I'd like to restore my images. truck fully repaired and restocked. That's good. Wish I could get fuel though. So I need to try and make my way up along here around and start making my way down there. It's really bad, you know, and losing Lebelic, it's just, you guys are like family to me, and I just feel like the community's falling apart at the moment. So that's really kind of, when you suffer depression, it's not easy to deal with. So to have all this stuff going on, that's just how I feel. I need to be honest, that's how it's making me feel at the moment, that I'm the one that drove him away. But my attitude, that's why I changed my attitude last week, and I'm trying to make it better. But I have PM'd you a couple of things. If you can do for me at some time, that would be very much appreciated. Sent it to you on Discord. That diabetes charity and the depression. There's actually another one for a depression site that's really good. It's something called Blue. I've sent you the links, and because I do take this whole depression thing quite seriously, as you know, and I'm open about it now, so I think it's important to be open, especially after what happened to my friend. Everyone at work said they didn't know that he was so depressed. He seemed so happy. I've had a ball with Desi Stig. Check out the video I did with Desi where he pushed me to the win in WSA. That was hilarious. We're going to run out of fuel at some point, so I'm just going to do it as far off as I can. So looks like I've got some more. But I still maintain it's very important when you are depressed to be open about it, and that's why I am. I've received some great support. It does mean that because of this whole fallout with Lebelic and that, I've given up on the idea of the charity event for now. It's just a pity because I actually had lined up Super GT to get involved. Yep, Steve was going to get involved. He asked me how things are going, and I've said to him, look, I'm really sorry mate, but I'm afraid it's not going to happen at the moment. But he said, look, keep in touch. He said if it does go ahead, let him know. Actually quite a nice guy to chat to, actually, I must admit. Via email. Yeah. Seems like a genuine guy. Yeah, I've given up on the whole that area. I need to sort myself out. I want to sort out how I'm doing my streams a little bit, streamline it a bit more. I might set, I'm not going to stream every day and try and set it as a more regular basis, so I might do Monday new dailies. Wednesdays we've got the Nations Cup, which I did really well. I came second yesterday in the Nations Cup. That was unbelievable. So that was on Aussie Tech Racing, so I want to give that more of a go. As I said, I won the Gazoo Racing race, so that's also amazing. I was not expecting that. Now it's this way, I go left and down this way. Yeah. I kind of gathered that, Andy. I knew you wouldn't abandon me. Phil's been busy as well. I don't, but it's just, I know you guys aren't abandoning me, but it just feels that way, if you know what I mean. When you're depressed. Like, I know, I'm just a streamer. I'm a guy sitting on a bloody couch playing a friggin' truck game. But you guys are like online mates. So I do miss it when you guys aren't there. I didn't see much of any of you last week. And understand that you guys are busy. I understand that. So I'm not letting you go. But it still gets to one. Still can be pretty hard to deal with. I think we'll get to this water tower. And then I'm going to have to stop this and come up, give this thing some more fuel. We found a new bug of this. If you're using a water trailer and you go to a different map, it empties. If you have water in that trailer, you exit the game and come back, the water will be gone. That's only if you use a trailer. I'm going to go in here because that looks like it might be a task I haven't got yet. So yeah, it's a little bit of a bug in this. Don't use the water trailers, especially if you want to go from map to map. Oh, I hadn't got that task. Okay, there we go. I thought there for a second. I missed the nations. I'm hunting kids to bed. So what? Well, I tried a couple during the day, but my wheel has been playing up. My first race I tried at 11 o'clock yesterday on my Aussie Tech Gaming channel on this account, and that one you saw, Never Give Up, that wasn't one of another account that I did. I can't remember. But the main race I did, I qualified third, and we finished second in the Nations Cup. Aussie Tech Racing, which that meant so much, so much. My first one, that's right. My first attempt I was actually fighting for the win. We were really. For some reason, I was really far. I was really good at Spa, and I was fighting for the win. But the dreaded bug, my wheel bug, kept coming. It happened 8 times. Well, no, it was 12 times in 8 laps, that's right, sorry. And really worried the wheel was on its way out, or something's wrong with it. But what I have tried is, I was plugging it through a USB port, a 4-port USB hub, and I've actually unplugged it from that and plugged it directly into the PS5, and it hasn't played up yet. But the good news is, so it might be the USB port, and I've also tried because the actual wheel comes with 2 USB cables, so I've tried a different USB cable and the port, and see if that solves the problem. If it solves the problem, that's great. If it hasn't, I've spoken to the place where I bought the wheel from, I spoke to them. I actually went in there today because I picked up a new microphone. I did that same thing before. That same point. Anyway, so I went into JB Hi-Fi today, and while I was there, I spoke to the gaming guy, and I said to him about the problem with the wheel, and he goes, "Oh, okay, probably a warranty thing, so bring it in." And I said, "Look, can you please check how you guys gonna have to deal with the warranty? Because it's all set up in a rig, so to bring the wheel down, it's not that easy. So I'd rather know if I'm going to have to bring it down so you guys have to send it off, or that it's a replacement." And he's looked it up and he goes, "Oh, good news, it's a direct replacement." So I just have to bring the wheel. If it does it again, if it does it, I'll record what happens. And if it happens again, just show them that, and he's going to swap the wheel for a brand new one. So apparently Thrustmaster are good with that now, with their warranties. So yeah, but yeah, it happened. It lost me that race. Then I tried again, I got taken out by an idiot, and then the wheel played up. So I gave up on that account and did a VR race, where, as I said, that's the never give up one, and that's where we still got a reasonably good result. And then we got a second. And then today in the Kazoo one, which I didn't even expect, I qualified second and won got into the lead at the first corner and stayed in the lead. The guy kept me honest for most of that race, but I managed to get through and win the race. So I won the Kazoo race, so that was also good. And also, the most awesome win was my stream with Desi Stick last night, where we were in the same daily race A, both in Lambos, which I don't recommend for daily race A. It is sketchy. And by the way, I found that guy on Twitch now, Twitter, the one that you told me that says what the new races are. So I use him now to find out what the new races are. Bit of a ordinary week next week, to be honest. But anyway, Desi used on the back straight. Desi used basically all of his. I didn't use any of, because you want to keep the. Well, you want to keep your nitrous for the last corner. So Desi used his nitrous to push me really far. Basically, push me. We were like 8th and 9th going into that last corner, quite far back. But with Desi pushing me, it got me. It caught us back up. It was unbelievable. It pushed me past everybody, went into the last corner. I just hit the nitros and just flew past and won the race. I just disappeared. It was all because of Desi. We tried to do the same thing in the reverse tonight. I wanted to repay him, but we didn't get in the same race, sadly. But we tried. Really getting on well with Desi Stig at the moment, so I'm really enjoying that. I kind of need going to his streams is what's been enjoying me. Entertaining me, should I say. So yeah, that was great fun. The Fiat 500, that spin was crazy, huh? I just had to do a little video of that bit. That was just like, the way it spun was just hilarious. I'm just having a lot of fun with Desi Stig at the moment, so I'm going into his lobbies and racing with him at the moment. It's just keeping me happy, but I want to try and change a couple of things around. But if you could do that logo for the diabetes fund and the Beyond Blue thing. I'll send you the links. If you can put that in GT7, I'll be extremely grateful, mate. I'll be extremely grateful. As long as you don't mind doing it, I don't want you thinking that that's all I'm friends with you for. I appreciate when you do that, so if you can, when you get some free time in your busy life, that would be incredible, man. Only if you get the spare time. But I'm thinking about trying not to stream every night, maybe Monday, Wednesdays and Fridays. Some weekends might be a bit different, especially with the manufacturers and the Nations Cup. But I think some direct streams might happen different days. But I think I will have 3 set appreciate it, mate. I appreciate it. Sucks when power supplies go. I've had that happen before. There's no hurry at all. I might have a quiet week again this week. Just have a little break while I try and figure out how I'm going to kind of do a restructure of how I do things a bit. I think you might remember. Do you remember the dirty driver we came across once on the Euroser? A British driver. I think it was not British. I think it was a blue and yellow flag. The guy's name was Anderson. We've come across him a couple of times in some races, and he's quite a dirty race. I was in a race with Desi Steve was also in the race. Mind you, I started second, and he started. I've had an incredible week with Bathurst this week. Anyway, I started second and this guy, Anderson guy, in first place. As soon as we started, I was right behind him in the Ferrari, all the Ferraris, and he starts just weaving down the straight. Every straight, he was just left and right, left and right. He made a mistake and drove straight into the middle of the road, so I couldn't get past, and he was just a dirty of dirt. And I had this other guy coming up close behind me in another Ferrari, and I was thinking, I don't want to get involved in this. This guy in front of me is driving recklessly, weaving, and I'm just not going to try. I just wanted to get a good result. So I ended up letting the guy behind me pass. I actually slowed down, let him. He actually bumped me into one of the corners, and did the right sporting thing down, and actually slowed down and let me back pass again. And then he caught up to me, and I saw this other guy in front again. He was just left. He was just really, he's just a bad driver. He tried to run the guy off at one point too. And I could see that, and I'm thinking, no, I'm not going to try and get involved in this. So I actually backed off, let the guy pass, and settled for third. Kind of hoping that first and second would come together. Because the way that other guy was driving was just shocking. And then that guy, not the bad guy, the dirty guy, the other driver, that he actually messaged me on PSN saying, man, that guy was shocking, wasn't he? Shows that me and you are better drivers than he is. It's nice getting that kind of feedback. You know, it's when you're online racing, you get someone who does the right thing. Like he bumped into me, so he let me back pass again. At first I was a bit angry, but the fact that he backed off and let me back past shows a lot more clear. If you make a mistake, it's how you own it, and that's what I try and do now. As you know, I'm trying to clean my up even more so. Wow, that truck's a bit in the mud, isn't he? She's a bit... Yeah, she'll be okay. As I said, ACC is not bad. I would just like to have seen them support better online support, better game support too, really, because their support of the game is just what really saddens me. Also saddened that EA confirmed that there will not be any VR2 support for F1 23. Maybe for F1 24 they said. And I think they've basically confirmed the main reason why is because F1 23 is basically designed around the PS4, to work on the PS4. Okay, let's just get this thing out of the water. And because F1 23 is basically designed to the PS4 with better graphics for the PS5, it's held back so they can't. They're saying they won't be able to incorporate the VR support. Very much like GT7 is held back by the PS4 version as well. I reckon they will too, because I think a lot of racers are really wanting to see some more VR racing. And the thing is, they've got VR in the game, and I think the main thing they're losing out on is not just the VR, the fact that they're still trying to support the PS4 and the Xbox. So there was talk that they weren't going to on this edition of F1, but looking like not until next year now. So all they're really done, and what I've seen, it's just an update. It's just like a update for this year, a new story. But hey, I've got access to it on the PC, so I'll play F1 23 on the PC. I'll wait until F1 24 comes out on now we need to take this up there, I think. I know, that's right, we have to take it to the evacuation camp. That's right, back down there. That's right, sorry, I forgot. So we do actually need... There was a way up here, but it was a bit sketchy and bits. I'm not going to risk that. I'll take the way we can. Better safe than sorry, huh? Well, no, I know Kmart, and looking at the game, it's just an update. It's a reskin. I just don't think it's really VR. I think it's mainly the fact that the game is still backwards compatible, basically PS4 and Xbox. it's just an update in the current game engine, and the game engine is slightly different on consoles than it is in the PC, because the PC version does support VR. So yeah, I just don't think they're able to add VR support. And I do think the other thing, the game is, and I think if they really wanted to, they should really just drop and just go next gen. Though I'm also hearing rumours, and I was actually looking forward to it, the new reboot of Forza Motorsport, but looking like very likely that game's going to be delayed until next year sometime now, maybe the end of next year, which is a real shame. As is Spider-Man 2, most likely going to be delayed until next year. My son's a huge Ark fan, and he's sad that Ark 2's been delayed until the end of next year. So yeah, a lot of game delays. But Codemasters said it is quite likely that VR2 support will come to the new WRC game. Because yes, Codemasters have the right to the new WRC game. How long up the stream? 39 minutes. I'll go and deliver this and then I'll talk to you. But I wouldn't blame it more on, so I'll blame it more on Codemasters. Sony could have pushed them a bit harder to bring VR support. So sad at the moment. The only VR supported racing game, VR2 supported racing game is of course GT7, which is brilliant. I absolutely love the VR2 and GT7. There's also, they said they were going to do it, there's still no confirmation of Beat Saber coming to VR2. I like Beat Saber, I want to play some Beat Saber. I like that game, it's fun. At the moment, the VR2 just sits next to the steering wheel because I only use it with GT7 because I've got no real other games to play. Well, I want to play in VR2. It's a rally game. I just drool at the idea of a rally game in VR2. I think it'd be absolutely breathtaking. They did a kind of rally game. It was very cut down graphics, but they did do it Rally 1 with VR 1 support. It was okay, but nothing brilliant. But if they do bring VR2 support for the new rally game, because it is a new game engine, apparently it's only going to support next gen. It's not going to support PS4 and Xbox. Complete new design up. First time Codemasters has got the official WRC license. Sorry, Codemasters / EA Games. It's in the game. Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. But the game itself, R-Factor, and I actually know the guy that's behind R-Factor, D-John. I talk to him quite often. He gave me R-Factor and R-Factor 2 for free. G-John from R-Factor, yeah, and R-Factor 2. Sadly, talking about R-Factor, the other part of that team that I'm not sure bought R-Factor but are involved with them now, which are the makers that bought NASCAR Heat and all those NASCAR games, and they were promising an IndyCar game, they were promising a British touring car game, a proper BTC game. Seems that they may have already gone belly up. The last NASCAR ignition NASCAR ignition absolutely flopped. It was full of bugs. It was useless. They didn't fix anything. Instead of fixing the problems with the game, all they did was go and announce that, oh, we're going to do an IndyCar game. We're going to do a British touring car game. Blah, 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 blah. And nothing's come of it. And from what I'm hearing, the studio's basically gone. I think they've actually gone bankrupt. They just haven't announced it. I think they've just disappeared and canned the plans for those two games. Which is kind of good because their expertise, for instance, is crap. But yeah, R-Factor's a game that I played a lot, the first one. And I know the team behind, as I said, I know G-John very well, it's the guy behind R-Factor. I actually had an official meeting with the Australian supercar CEO and boss. I actually got flown down to Melbourne, down to Sydney, to have an official meeting with the supercar board CEO and some other board members on behalf of R-Factor, because they were interested in doing a V8 supercar game based on the supercars. So I went down to Sydney, sat down with them. Now this was good probably 10 years ago now. And yeah, what can I say? Supercars wanted more money for the license than what Codemasters had to pay for the Formula 1 license. Plus they wanted a really high percentage of all takings of all game sales. So I didn't even have to ask. I knew straight away there's no way the R-Factor team would have that kind of money to do it. So it's a pity. They were prepared. They wanted to do a whole full-on supercar game. I mean, it would have been a full sim, obviously using the R-Factor engine done by the team. Because of the greed of the board of supercars, it never went away. It never got any further than that initial discussion. Such a pity. I could have had a job out of it though. They were prepared to make me kind of like a Aussie rep with supercars with the team if they actually went into the development of making that game. But sadly, due to the greed, thinking that they're better than everyone else, and that they were actually worth more money than what Formula 1 were getting paid, which they of course were not. Yeah. That's an interesting little story that I was involved in. The problem is that this new group that took over R-Factor, the R-Factor 2 is a bit they've really made it quite confusing. I can never really get into it anymore and get it working properly. The main thing I don't like about supercars, now, the interesting fact, this is interesting, I'm not sure if I spoke to you guys about that before, but supercars went behind paywall, and I'm sure you guys know about it, pay TV. It went from being on free-to-air to pay TV, and not everyone could afford it. There's a company called Foxtel here in Australia that bought the rights. But of course you have to pay to watch, and a lot of people couldn't afford to get it, couldn't get it in their area. So I started a Facebook group about for those against supercars going to free to air, that we wanted it still on free to air. Just that Facebook group I created has 13,000 members, and the stories I heard of members of why they couldn't follow the sports anymore because they're behind paywall. They just went about it the wrong way. They Foxtel thought, and I'll tell you how I know that. Foxtel thought by buying the rights, everyone would pay to watch it. So everyone, well, they would get a whole lot of new subscribers and stuff because they've got it, and everyone wants to watch the supercars. And ironically, when I was driving limos, I had to pick up. Turned out to be the CEO of Foxtel from the Gold Coast Airport and driving to the Foxtel head office. Now he didn't know who I was from Barstow. While I was driving this guy, he was talking to someone on the phone, quite animated about how buying the supercars has been a complete failure for them, that they did not get the uptake, and they've lost millions of dollars from the contract. So I'm listening to this thinking, and it's just going on how they have not got the money. The amusing bit was that during the discussion, he even mentioned the Facebook group that I had created. He was saying how this Facebook group has got over 13,000 members. Against it, he says we need to talk to these people. We need to find out who the guy is that started this, what the reasoning is, blah blah blah. He's talking about the very Facebook group that I created. The person he's asking this other guy to try and find out is driving him right there. I was in the front seat driving this guy. It was just like a small world. Who would have thought? While he's talking about that, he's actually got... But I didn't say who I was, I didn't say a word. I had to stay professional. I was worried that... I think I just had my food delivered, yes. Just hang on 2 seconds, I just need to go downstairs and grab my food. I'll be back in a second. But yeah, I was the one driving the car. But because of being professional, I didn't say anything. Just hang on a second, I'm just going to go and get the food from the front seat. I'll come out back in a second. Back, got my food. Yeah, I'll get this food called you food. delivered, and I get them to deliver it between 12 and 7 in the morning. And it's actually helped me lose about, I think I've lost about nearly 10 kilograms by eating this food. It's a lot more healthy. I'm not a cook. Nowhere near being a cook. So yeah, this food it's really quite nice too. It's fresh. It's not like mint chicken. It's proper chicken. It's proper meat. You know, it's not this processed crap that you get with a lot of those frozen meals. They're not frozen. It's cold. Just put in the fridge and you just put in the microwave for about 3 minutes and hey presto. Nice, tasty, healthy food. I've lost 10 kilograms. I've never felt so good since moving to that food. Worth every cent, I tell you. And it's filling enough too, so it's not too big a meal. And by going onto this kind of diet, I find myself eating less chocolatey stuff now. I'm finding myself a bit more eating healthy. I don't feel like I want chocolate as much as I used to. So that was funny. But it was sad, the stories. There's guys that have been following supercars and Group A days before that who just couldn't afford to get it. And this is over 13,000 people. And the thing we all agreed on was it's the way that they did it. If they had gone, okay, you can still watch all the races live and on free-to-air, only in single definition, with adverts during the races and everything like that, so you only get the bare minimum. And if you went to pay TV and it was high definition, no adverts during the races, blah blah blah, I think they would have actually had a bigger uptake. I think more people wouldn't have been angry about trying to be forced into buying, getting Foxtel. That's the way I look at it, you know. I think when you try and force people, they don't like that. Now, having said that, as I said, I'm the guy who started that group, and I haven't really done much with it because nothing really has been discussed about it of late. But I'm the guy who started it, and yes, since that's happened, it's become a bit cheaper to watch it. You don't have to get Foxtel to watch it. You get a app called like your Netflix and that. It's called KO. And by getting KO, I can, and I pay for it, and I honestly do pay for it. But it's not just for that. It's like Formula One is also on it, because Formula 1's no longer on free-to-air. It's just, yeah, they have not used their brain. And the worst thing is, I actually know one of the big team owners. Lovely lady, and she agrees with me that going to Foxtel has damaged the sport. Big sponsors pulled out because they're not getting their airtime as much airtime anymore. So that one of the teams, they won the championship. They had their main sponsor was Pepsi. Okay, Pepsi's pretty big, you know, and they won the championship with that very team. And what happened? Well, I'm glad you asked. They pulled out at the end of that year because the following year went behind Foxtel, and they didn't see the point of wasting their money in a series which was going to get less airtime. So they lost a lot of sponsors and had to get all these smaller sponsors. Back, I used to work in a computer company, and we dealt with a lot with and AMD themselves, the AMD CPU manufacturer, asked me to approach one of these supercar teams to find out how much it would cost to sponsor their car. And back then, they could say, okay, if you want to get this sponsor, you have to pay that much for that part of the panel. On that panel, it's going to cost you this much. On the bonnet, even more. On the roof, on the side of the car, it's big time money. And they could name how much it costs to sponsor sections of their car. Now, the teams are struggling and just to try and get anyone to sponsor. So we have these sponsors on these cars from companies I've honestly never even friggin' heard of. And she was dead against it, but she could not speak out against it because of a gag order that Supercars had with all the teams. And anyone who spoke out against Foxtel or Denser TV, anything negative towards Supercars, would get sued. So yeah, good old politics. Anyway, mate, I've got there. It's nearly an hour. I think I'm going to head for bed. I have to get up early and take the car for service, which it's not going to be cheap. Not a cheap day tomorrow, I tell you. But I'll see you it's great hearing from you, mate. Let me know when you do get those logos done. But again, no huge hurry. We need to take this. Well, I'm going to recover this back. But yeah, I will see you in the next one, mate. Again, great seeing you. See you around. Stay safe. Bye for now. Happy gaming, everybody.